Okay, ladies and gents, you see it as promised. You see exactly what is going on and who is sitting in the upper right corner right now. She can't see all of the great production values we have at the moment just because she sees our beautiful faces, but you know who we are. It's Mr. Starksan.
Big
But
dub.
I want to get into introducing somebody real fast. We have a certified and trained ass kicker, a DMV representative, Mambo Sauce. You know the whole thing. MLW Featherweight Champion for 104 days and counting, ladies and gentlemen. The kick demon herself, Janai Kai. What is going on, beloved? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, blessed and highly favored. How
Yeah,
are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
For the record, y'all, Werner said Pootie Tang before we started
No,
this stream.
Scott,
I heard him. It's a conspiracy.
I
I'm
was doing
starting it.
random sayings before the.
That's what we need to get going, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we need. Watch Pootie Tang. It's a great Chris Rock movie. It's actually horrible. But, guys, this is very important because this has been a long time coming. I've been watching her progress. I saw her women's wrestling army for the first time. I was a little scared. That's okay. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. That means that she is doing something right and she is delivering
Wait.
on any and all expectations. Go ahead.
Wait, was she chasing you, trying to kick you? Was that?
The mouth guard was in, so you know that's just as intimidating.
You know.
Oh yeah, she knows. She's like, yeah, I do that sometimes. I
Yeah,
kick people. I put mouth guards in.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
okay
caught me
though.
at a bad moment, I guess.
No, that was a great moment. It was a great moment actually. Don't worry about it. But let's
Okay,
kick off with
okay.
this. Let's talk about your background. Let's talk about the process of how you got into Muay Thai, kickboxing, all of the things that help create your style that makes you shine and makes you stand out in that wrestling ring. What got you into that?
Yeah, so I started with Taekwondo. That was the first martial art, and I received my black belt in Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I continued to do tournaments, competing around the DC area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped Taekwondo, and years later, I started up with kickboxing and Muay Thai. So still stand up, all stand up. And I was doing a little bit more training with that. I eventually was thinking of becoming more serious about it,
Okay.
which was getting into fighting. And I did train for a fight, but my opponent backed out last minute. Yeah, that was my first fight too that I was training for. I was dropping 20 pounds
Oh,
Whoa.
you cut
for this
20?
fight. Yeah,
Wow. Oh
yeah,
my goodness. That's insane. So
yeah.
first of all, must have saw your wrestling footage. That's probably what that was. Saw your footage of you in that ring and was like, I don't want any parts of this. So actually I have a
Because the
follow-up.
mouth guard was in.
Yeah, the mouth guard. That's the key.
She might have seen me posting my training videos because I was doing that. And what you don't do when you're training for a fight, you don't necessarily look up everything about your opponent, or else you're gonna chicken out, or you're just gonna overthink too much about things. So I think that's what she did.
No, so you said something that was really interesting. You said that you were getting ready to cut 20 pounds. You were really getting ready to step into it and prepare to kick some ass, basically. So
Mhm.
when it comes to your preparation, how seriously do you take your preparation and how focused were you on the path to that fight that person backed out of?
Oh, I took it very seriously because I knew that my team was not even going to let me slack in the slightest. And I seen the way that they train with each other before I started getting more serious into it, and I knew what I was getting into overall. And I took it as serious as to traveling to other schools to train. Like I trained with coaches that train UFC fighters. I went to American Top Team, and then I went over
Ooh.
to Henry Hooft. He has his own school. He trains fighters in the UFC. So I went to both of those gyms to train for this fight and everything. And it was the week of the fight when she pulled out. And yeah, I was already down to like maybe like 2 more pounds, and I would have been good. But
Damn.
yeah, that's what happened. It's a very serious thing, and I think looking back at it though, it was a huge learning lesson, and I learned more about how my body works and how it adapts to just like a serious type of training or workout routine like this because it's very different. Like I had to cut a lot of different foods out, a lot, and I trained probably twice a day. And when I was training, I would be layered up, long sleeves, leggings or sweats with like socks over it, like literally trying to shed these pounds every day.
Man, oh my goodness, that sounds really intense, Warren. I think you might need to add something about that yourself, sir. That's crazy.
So you mentioned about how you were learning about your body and what you had to cut from food wise. How extra or grumpy were you during that time? Like if we talk to family members, be like, "Oh, she was unbearable because she couldn't have this."
Yeah.
You're gonna have to ask my boyfriend because he was like one of the ones that were training me and helping me out with it because he had more experience than I did with this. But I don't think I was that bad. I don't think I was too grumpy or
Nope.
anything.
Nope.
I like. I think the only times where it like got to me was when it was like kind of during certain training sessions where I was just like, I felt like I felt weak or something like
Yeah.
that. I was letting a lot of things get to my head here and there, and I felt like I just wasn't like technique wise, I wasn't on point. Or maybe there was like one day of training where you just have your off day. Like there was times when I had my off day and like I would let it get to me and I'll be flustered and like would have attitude when it came to that.
I know you just know she was lying about that first part though. You'd have to
Yeah.
ask him. I think I was fine. No, you wasn't. Now you
Alright.
know.
Yeah.
He was like, God damn it, let me get her chopped cheese or something. Let me just help her out. I just need
One
to help her
skill
out.
is not going to kill her.
Yeah.
Here's a
Yeah.
starburst. Just take it. Absolutely. That's amazing though. I mean, to actually do all of that training and get in all of that preparation and even overcome all of the stuff that's just like rigorous. That's good. That's really good. Warren, did you have any other questions, man? Let's keep this rolling, man. Let's keep this rolling.
After this fight, was this the determining factor of you choosing pro wrestling over MMA?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, right when she like pulled out of the fight, I was like, "Dang, okay. Like, so what am I gonna do now? Because this is just ridiculous. And this is like an amateur fight. I wasn't getting paid for this. Nothing. So the pro wrestling, it popped up in my head because I've been wanting to do it since I was 6 years old, and it was just always in the back of my head. And I thought, yeah, it would be a great time to just get into it. Now I left the college I was at, I was already gone. I trained for the fight. That happened. I was like, this is kind of telling me to start on this because it's literally like punching me in the gut right now to start pro wrestling. So that's what I did. I actually moved over to Florida to do the training for pro wrestling and everything. And yeah, we're here now.
Yeah, there you go. So
There
you
we
said
go.
something that I find very intriguing. You said 6-year-old you knew you wanted to do this in a way. So my thing is this: what was that influence that made you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about professional wrestling? What was that experience?
I think it was just how familiar it just seemed for me because I was doing martial arts at that young age as well.
Mm-hmm.
And originally I kind of wanted to do stunt work for like martial arts movies and stuff
Okay.
like that. And then like I was getting into pro wrestling a little bit more around that young age. I was like, okay, so it could be between stunt work for martial arts movies or I could do pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just continued to watch pro wrestling and so that's how it just became a thing where it's like, okay, I eventually should try this out.
No doubt. Well, I have no doubts that you could whoop Steven Seagal's ass. So if you decide to
Well,
take
yeah,
that
that's
route,
a fact.
if you could take that route, I'm telling you right now, you can beat him out the game. Just get him out the game. Whatever you do, just get him out the paint. Nobody likes Steven Seagal. But no, you said you said you were thinking about getting into stunt work. So when you look at how far stunt work has came and like seeing all the movies and the nuance, is that something that excites you when you see it now?
Yeah, I still get excited like just watching all.
No.
Uh-oh.
We got a little freezy freeze. Ladies and gentlemen, this comes with the territory. We have a little
Yep.
technical difficulties every now and again. It is what it is. Janai will be right back in here. We got her frozen. That's a good face for her to be frozen on, though. She looks nice there.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, Janai, if you can hear us, come out and come back in. That's all you got to
Yeah.
do. That is all you got to do. We will still be here. Oh, wait, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
You unfroze. You were frozen for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
She was
Where
probably
did it?
like, I would
Where
fight
did it cut
Iron
off?
Man. I would do everything. And she was just frozen.
Oh no, where did it cut off?
So you had just got into what you were saying. So you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was it like I still wanted to get into stunt work or something. I was saying something about stunt work. Oh yeah, so I still have it in mind to do it. And I still feel like I have the opportunity to do like stunt work and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like even if I watch like Cobra Kai or something, like I think it's pretty cool to see like that crew do the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I could be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know people that from my martial arts school who actually do movies. And I was talking to like an old instructor about it because he does a lot of them. And he asked me if I would be interested. I said, yeah, but he did mention it would be a big commitment, like kind of like how
Yeah.
pro wrestling is. That's how that would be. So he said if anything he'll keep it in mind, and he follows me on social media and he likes and sees all the things that I do. So if anything, I would at least like to try the training, like go to the training school and check it out maybe for like a week or so and see how I actually feel about it. I do have some experience like that's close to that, which is doing like motion capture and stuff.
Oh, nice.
For like
Oh.
2K for the 2K game. So when I did that, like I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of like stunt work, like how I wanted to do that too. But it's so cool because I'm doing pro wrestling and then I had that opportunity to do that, and I can put that under my resume.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can always like have a chance to do anything, really, and it's just how the industries can like come together is pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like never say never. Like I definitely want to try more stunt work for like maybe like small movies or something like that.
So, guys, that is really cool because I don't know if anybody remembers the video game Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. There was a character on there named Mocap. He literally was a motion capture guy. He had the whole stuff on him. We need to get that going for Janai Kai. We need to make her the next Mocap so that way she could get those Mortal Kombat residuals. That is what we need. That is what I think is necessary.
Why not in the wrestling game? You could do. She could be vacant.
Oh, look at that.
She could be the vacant in the wrestling video games.
I think she's too talented to be vacant, though.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think vacant
is
doesn't
true.
have that much talent. Vacant is vacant of everything, okay? But I also want to add something else because this is something that I think is absolutely incredible, and this is just one of the ways I measure success. But you have a 500,000 view match on YouTube against La Rosa Negra right now from Ladies Night Out 12. 500,000. So yeah, you didn't even know that?
No, I did not know it was that many.
You have a 500,000 view match right now. So I have to ask, how do you measure success in professional wrestling, and what do you value most when it comes to your success?
Listen, like, I mean, when I see I have a lot of views and you saying that kind of makes me nervous, to be honest. Because it's one thing to watch it, but it's like, what are they saying? Because that's another.
Oh.
And I kind of don't like seeing what people are saying, because engagement means more to me than just views. And as someone that's been in social media for so long, I'm starting to know more on the business side because, like me myself, I'm a business. And so I look more at things like, all right, how much engagement am I getting when I'm posting things? Like, I want to be relatable, like stuff like that. And like when I post my matches, like, yes, I get a lot of views, but like I also like wonder, I'm like, I don't know, like I want to know more. Like,
I like the movie.
I guess the 500,000 views is crazy though. I'm sure it's like Title Match, and Title Match, they have a huge following. So I don't know, like that's just crazy. Like I think for like success wise, I think it's just all about going back to the engagement, like how relatable you are and how much people can actually love you for who you actually are. I think that's success right there. And someone actually commented on my TikTok today, and because I asked a question, I'm like, what style of pro wrestling do you guys actually like? And someone told me like they like deathmatch wrestling, but they also like watching wrestlers who are like down to earth and like cool like me. And that really like gave me another perspective of things. So I think that's success right there, when you can have a bunch of supporters who
Right.
see you in that way, rather than just, oh yeah, like he has good matches, like I watch all of them or whatever, or give it a like or something like that. But if you hear more about like people saying how like good of a person you are, and they can relate to you and stuff like that, I think that's success right there.
No, that's great, because that leads me to ask, what are your keys to connection? Like, what are a few things that you personally try to do when you're trying to make those connections? Is it just more of being yourself? Is it more of, being who you are in the ring? What do you utilize to connect to your fan base?
Yeah, so the one thing I get a lot is like that people don't really know how to take me because of like what my character is.
Mm-hmm.
And like my character, you can't tell if they're like babyface or heel because I'm just aggressive all around. And with the mouth guard and everything, it
Mm-hmm.
could be intimidating. And like when people meet me, they don't tell me anything like straight to my face, but I see it later. They say like she's actually like a very down to earth, very sweet girl, like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like, so what I try to do though is like going back to social media is I try to show more of like regular Janai side, like on a like how I am on a daily basis outside of wrestling. So that's what I try to do. So like that connection comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to provide more content like that where they see who I am so that they can connect the dots, because who I am in the ring is still me. It's just like 1,000 times more
There
of
you go.
Janai. So now that I'm like doing more social media stuff, that's kind of like what my goal is. And now that I'm getting more eyes on me too, that's definitely what I'm trying to push for.
No doubt. So, guys, I want to speak to personal experience, because the first time I met Janai was at the Women's Wrestling Army event at Logan Square Auditorium here in Chicago. And she came down fully dressed up, and I swear I leaned over to my videographer, and I was like, "This girl's a killer." I said, "This girl's a killer." And then we started.
And then she
talking.
heard you and ran, and then she tried to run you out of the building.
Yeah, pretty
by
much.
kicking you.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But no, and then she spoke, and I was like, wow. I was like, you're really, and what's great about you, and I'm not trying to be a kiss ass here when I say this, your intelligence comes off immediately. That is something that I think is really cool. Your intelligence, when you speak and when you talk about the business, it immediately comes out. You really care about the business and love the business. And that is important. That is just extremely important. And I just want to give you your flowers right here on the stream and say that, because when I see that straight away in a wrestler and somebody who's been in the business, that means you care about it and you care about the fans that watch you. So that's important. But go ahead, Warner.
We've seen you in AEW a lot. What's been some of the biggest takeaways from that experience, and what have been some of the learning experiences that you took away from there?
Yeah, so I actually was there recently. I didn't get any spots, but what I kind of like, I was talking to another wrestler, Jordan Blade, about this because she was there with me, and I told her, I'm like, have you noticed that every time we come back to AEW that we've grown in some sort of way as a wrestler? And I think what it is that like when we go to AEW and then we leave that night, we leave with some sort of motivation, whether we get used or not. It's just like watching like how everything goes down. That's like one thing is that we're doing as local talent coming in. We're watching every single part of what everyone's doing. We're meeting new people here and there. Everyone's like busy, of course, but we're definitely observing how things go down. And then when the show's happening, we're watching all the matches. If we do have an opportunity to work, we work directly with whoever the agent is. The agent can be anybody. Like at one point I had Dean Malenko as my agent for me and Red Velvet. and that's pretty cool. Just learning off of him, obviously, but it could be anything really that you can learn. But what I will say is to just talk to whoever, because they are very welcoming and they will stop and like answer any question that you have. Um, and of course, like Thunder Rosa's back there, and I like me and her obviously have a cool connection, a cool relationship. So it's always good to like see people like that and people checking up on us. And that's one thing for sure that I've learned is just like being there for people, chatting with people, like just making everything a fun, comfortable learning experience overall. That's what I've taken away from that.
Cool. So what part of the process did you key in on the most when you were back there? What part were you like, I want to put my microscope on this specifically?
So I think when it comes to how they do like the segments and stuff, like backstage segments, that's one thing, like that's actually a big thing that I'm into right now is segments.
Okay.
And I kind of want to up my game when it comes to that part of everything, because that's what kind of helps with the storytelling, right? So that's like one thing I was really focusing on, or when I see them filming the backstage stuff, it's pretty cool to see that even happening. So that's been like a main focus for me.
No, absolutely. Or did you have any follow up to that?
Yeah. With the segments, is it more of the promo or just the like kind of like skit stuff?
It's both for me, because we even do it at MLW. We do like segments and everything. And what's cool is that when you're at a place, right, like with a company that gets who you are and they know what they want out of you, it becomes so beautiful. Like the way that everything comes out is so beautiful. Like with me in MLW, when we do the segments and everything, they already know who I am and they're helping me upgrade to become more of like a TV style Janai Kai. And that's like what I'm looking forward to. And it matters a lot if you are working with people that want to absolutely work with you, not just book you to wrestle, but absolutely want to work with you. Like, hey, let's do this promo thing with you. I have an idea for you. I kind of see something. How do you feel about that? Like that type of teamwork, like that really intrigues me. And so when I see that happening backstage, like if I'm at AEW or anything, that's pretty cool to see. Like it all just come together, and then it only takes like one or two takes, and it just like it's so cool. And then see it being presented on live TV if it's like recorded. So I think like just everything regarding that, like that's what really intrigues me when it comes to it.
Okay, so you talked about building your character and fleshing out. So like, where do you see your character going? The TV Janai Kai, as you said. What does that look like to you, and how have you been building that as you went along?
Yeah, so exactly what I've been doing in MLW is what I see it more now. Like the vision is becoming more clear, and that is. And I spoke to someone backstage about it, as far as like what they see of me and how they see me in this company. And with my character, yes, I'll talk. I won't talk too much because I want to get to the point and like fight, but I'll say enough, but I'll say it calmly. Kind of like Bruce Lee. Like the way that he talks is very calm. But he can whoop ass, but you don't see him like G'ing up and like, trying to like fight everybody. He's calm. He's calm, cool, collected. So that's kind of like how they see me. They see me as that person on the roster.
Yeah, you're gonna be like water.
Yeah.
Flow like water.
I don't know if I'll say any of that, but like the tone of his voice was very mellow, and I've even tried playing around with my voice. Like, how would I talk like a old school Hulk Hogan? Like,
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
No, it doesn't really. Yeah. I've tried talking in different ways. I try to do the whole martial arts, like saying these different quotes, like Bruce Lee quotes and stuff like that, or trying to make up my own. And that didn't really like sound right to me either. So the thing is like for me, I'll say everything in my mellow tone because I talk in a mellow, like calm, cool, collected tone anyways. But when what I'm talking about will be more blunt and I'll just be straight to the point. Like I don't have to overthink about it. So that's how my character would be too.
Get it? So like tonight, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
End promo.
Yeah.
Done.
That's all you need. Go to the match.
Exactly.
That's it.
Mouth guard in, walk right out, kick, done.
So do you?
Yeah, I'll probably state one or two facts here and there, but I won't talk way too. But that's what it is.
So you like the less is more approach with promos, basically.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So intergender matches, we gotta talk about it. Talk about the fun parts of working those matches and the side of it that may be a little bit rough, okay? And who is the one male wrestler that helped you step up your game in that regard?
So the one thing I liked when it comes to intergender matches is just feeling like there's some sort of course, equality into it, where when I'm giving a certain amount of energy to the guy, he's giving the same energy back. And that's what I like. Like, if I'm going to kick them hard and they kick me back really hard, I'm like, okay, yes, all right. This is actually like making me feel stronger. And that's all like I really ask for when it comes to it. But of course, safety, you know. But I think I don't see any like downsides when it comes to it. Of course, people are gonna say what they're gonna say, how they feel when it comes to intergender wrestling. But all I really like have to say is when it comes to the storytelling, I think that's what just needs to be worked on more when it comes to intergender wrestling because a lot of the times there's certain matches and intergender matches that I've watched in the past where it's like the guy's like, oh, I don't want to wrestle her. And then the girl's like, oh, come on, wrestle me. It's like that story.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd rather see less of that and more of like equal. Like I've been having a lot more intergender matches where we're both fighters. Like we're both, like there's no heel, there's no face. Like we're both like basically a face. We're both like 50-50 going at it. And that's the type of intergender matches I like to see. And so yeah, I would like to see that a little bit more rather than just like the guy's gonna be the heel type and then the girl's just gonna be the face type matches. And then I guess for who pushed me the most was definitely Speedball when I had my match with him. I guess that's 2 years ago now. But I had a match with him in New York and he definitely pushed me. He's like one of those wrestlers where he's gonna definitely make sure that you are comfortable with everything. But when we're in that ring, like he's gonna push you. Like if we're running, we're running. Like we are not slowing down type thing. So that's what I also like as well because that makes me a better wrestler.
You know, I got to talk about it. This is something that every wrestler that I've ever had the pleasure of working with has said. Talk to the people that don't seem to understand this part of what you do. Talk to the people about what in-ring cardio is and what that means.
In-ring cardio, yes, it's way different than any type of cardio you can think of because, and sometimes when people ask me like, how can I prepare, you know, for like pro wrestling, like if I want to start out, I really say like do a bunch of HIIT type cardio workouts, any workouts that make you have to go like up and down basically because that's what you're doing in the ring. Like you're dropping down, you're getting up, you're taking a slam, you're getting up, and that's a bunch of cardio and it's very intense on your body. And that's why when you see, you know, training schools or whatever, when they're taking like videos of like the classes, like you see them doing like the knee raises and everything in the corner, the drop downs, like that's why you see them doing a lot of that all the time because that's what you're doing in the ring, believe it or not. And so I would say too is to keep that up because once we're kind of released from like the schools and we're off doing our own thing, we kind of forget to keep that in mind, like, that cardio can go away easily.
Yeah.
So it's always good to, like, if you have uh access to a ring, to get in that ring and practice those cardio workouts, everything. Or if you don't, just be at the gym and do a bunch of, like, what I like to do is like the burpees,
Hmm.
or what was it, the kettlebell swings, like a lot of those too. Those are really helpful. So just anything around those lines, like,
Yeah.
you'll be good. Like, it's still gonna hit you sometimes in the ring, even if you have like the best cardio. You feel like, if you feel like you're in the best shape of your life,
Yeah.
and you get in that ring, it's still gonna hit you in some sort of way, but it won't hit you too much to where, like, you're completely blown, because then that's gonna be very dangerous for your opponent too. If you're just completely blown
Yeah.
and you can't even go, and you're just gonna call it quits, basically. Like, that's why it's important too, though.
Wait, one more thing, then I'm gonna let Werner get some. Hold on. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Name one time you were in the ring and you were like, "Oh no, I am reaching E. This is bad."
Uh, I'm gonna be honest, it's been happening like recently, here and there, and I don't know what it is. I think it was just because I was sick a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what was hitting me, and I was recovered, but it's still kind of there, like, up here in your nose, like
Oh,
when
don't
you're
talk to
like,
me about sinuses.
it's
Don't.
like
Oh.
one of those things. I feel like that's what it is. Also, like, with the holidays, like, I mean, the holidays basically started like in September for me, where I felt like just I was going to a lot of parties, to like when there was a bunch of food and stuff. So it's like what you eat too, kind of like. But hey, I'm not gonna, like, I just came back from Japan eating healthy and stuff like that. So, like, when I came home, I was kind of like, yeah, let me chill, let me do what I want for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still go to the gym, but it's kind of like I've been chilling, but
Mm-hmm.
now I'm ready to get back on my feet now that all that's the holidays and stuff is over.
Translation, y'all. If y'all see her standing by the cube cheese and crackers, leave her alone. Just leave. Let her have it. Let her have her moment.
Especially if the mouth guard is in the hand.
Yeah, if it's in the hand, that's the real power source. I think you an ass kicker
Yeah.
without it, but
Mhm.
that's the power source
Mhm.
right there. Okay, go
That's
ahead.
her. That's her Undertaker urn.
That's her Thanos Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that is. It's all right though.
So, Janai, we've seen you be all over the world. I'm curious, where has been the funnest locker room to be in, or most underrated?
Hmm. I definitely like being in the MLW locker room, because everyone there is just like so hungry and so good in, like, with what they do. If you see just the storylines and everything that's happening right now, and a lot of beautiful things are happening with some of these wrestlers where I've seen them before they were there. Like, it's the same things happening with me, where we are finding ourselves even more in more of a TV type of atmosphere, and the crew just, like, wants to work with you, like, the producers want to, like, just make something beautiful out of you, and, like, with these segments and vignettes and everything, it's just so cool to see, and just being around that is great. So, like, MLW for sure.
Okay, she said the MLW locker room. So now we got to get to another question in that regard. So when you walk back there, you're getting your stuff you got to do for the day. You're talking, about what's going to happen. Where's the part where you go, I can do a little bit more with this? Like, I want to be a little bit more creative with this aspect. What is that one aspect that when you're going through the process, you want to do more?
So it's always going to be like, this is something that has to do with my matches, and I learned this the last time, because I got feedback on my match, and it was before I had the match. I got feedback, and I did it at the match, and it looked so great, and I'm gonna keep doing this more. And it's one thing that you give emotion and you show facials, because that's what I feel like I'm really strong at, is the facials. But it's like, it's there's in between parts that I miss. Like, if for example, it was me and Hyper Misao, and Misao had me in like a chicken wing crossface thing,
The Bob
And
Backlund, yeah.
and then Selena came up to distract Hyper Misao. Hyper gets up, sprays her with her cold spray, and then I hit her with a kick. So mind you, keep in mind, she just gave me a submission move that, like, that sucks.
Yes, it
And
does.
so I gave her the kick, and I went to the Dragon Sleeper after, but before I ran to give her the Dragon Sleeper, I sold what she gave me. So it's like, yes, I'm gonna give her the kick, but afterwards, I'm gonna sell, like, give it a moment. That was also a thing. Facials and moments is so big to me right now. I think that's gonna be the biggest thing that I'm going to try and improve this year. So it's like a moment like that where you're like, oh yeah, she gave her that thing. That's why she's selling that. It's like those type of moments. And then so when I sold my face, even the camera like had like a good view of it too. So they caught that. I sold it, and then I went up, grabbed her, pulled her to the middle, and then put her in the Dragon Sleeper. So it's just like also like taking your time. You don't have to rush to the next thing. Tell that story of what just happened and everything. That means a lot to me. So I am so glad I got that feedback. Thank you, Jesus Rodriguez, for that. He was the one that gave me that feedback, and like I saw it, and it just like it made such a difference. Because knowing me, if I didn't get that feedback, I would have ran straight to the Dragon Sleeper.
Well, Jesus, selling in psychology is important. So you're teaching it right. That's exactly what you do. You know what I'm saying? Now, pardon me. You spoke about Japan, and we've had a couple little things about Japan come up. Now, what are some of the things that culturally you've been able to experience since you've started wrestling that you were like, I really love this. Why have I never done this before? What cultural experiences do you just love talking about?
Oh yeah, of course Japan for sure. Because I think if traveling wise, I've been there the most out of the other places. Like I was at the UK, and then I've been to Canada, but like Japan, I was there the longest. And so I was able to take away just so many things and just open my eyes more to everything, because I was by myself while I was over there. All the times that I went over there, I was by myself. So it's just having that experience by myself, walking around during the downtimes, and just like experiencing, of course, like how the shows run, how the locker room is. And it's there's like a big difference when it comes to that too, when it comes to like the wrestling shows compared to like the American shows. Definitely a big difference. Just like how everyone is very like the teamwork there is so different. And like just like everything how it's structured and laid out. Like everyone seems to be there at the same time. Everything just like is like so structured there, rather than like over here. Mind you, this is just how we do it in America. There's nothing bad. This is just how we work. Like we all get there at different times. People are late. There's only like 5 people doing ring crew, and there's like it's like things like that happen over here, but you don't see that over there. So it's just like that's what I kind of took away, and I did bring back some of just like what I even seen outside of wrestling, like just how more disciplined they are and more aware they are. Like the public just being like just walking around through the city, through Tokyo and everything. Like I kind of took that back over here as well.
So you said it's that camaraderie, discipline, and uniformity that you really liked about those locker rooms over there?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Now, I heard you're a sucker for a calm adventure, or even a nice one, a nice, exciting one. So talk about the little things you enjoy when you are at these other places, and the little things you just enjoy doing that brings you joy.
Like when I'm traveling and everything, like what I like to typically do. So I am a big sucker for like going to cafes or just going like thrift shopping and stuff like that. So I usually find me just going to a cafe, I just order a latte and just like chill. And like that's like one thing I like to do the most is like find different types of cafes, like mom and pop shops and stuff like that, and then go thrifting after, and just feeling like it's just like a whole vibe for me. It's just like a whole settled vibe. Like, and like I even just like chill in. Like when I was in Tokyo, I would just randomly sit somewhere like in the city and just like watch everything happen. Like that's basically how I am too. I just like to do that sometimes.
You people watching out there, Janai? You people watching?
I'm not gonna be rude about it or anything, because like over there, if you're like, they don't look at you.
Yeah.
Over there, they look down. Like they don't even, no side eye, nothing. You don't see that over there.
That's
you
really
don't see
different.
Yeah. So it's like if I was to stare at them, then that's kind of like intimidating for them. So yeah, I don't necessarily like people watch, but I was just taking in everything.
Yeah, you do that in DC, that's not gonna work.
Not at all.
I know
Not
that in Chicago.
all.
I was looking at a dude because his zipper was under. I was like, "Hey man, he was like, what you looking at?" I was like, "Nothing." Nothing. I was
exactly. They're gonna think that you want something if you just like look.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah.
But no, that's really cool. I never knew that. I've never been to Japan personally, but that's cool to find out that the culture is that different over there. But Werner, did you want to speak anything there?
So I was curious, what's the most underrated cheat meal in Japan?
Uh-oh.
Underrated cheat meal?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, so many things.
So many things in Japan.
The food I ate was just so clean too, and that's why I have to think. Because like the one thing for sure, over there, all of their sweets are so good. Like if you see any of the like the churros and stuff that they have over there, like or the there's like the strawberry like desserts and stuff like that. If you see it, try it honestly, because I necessarily didn't feel terrible eating it. It actually like felt pretty good to eat. It's so clean over there.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say to just like watch out for what you eat there either. Like I wouldn't even call it necessarily like a cheap meal. Like they have pizza over there and stuff, but it's not like necessarily too bad. You know, it's just like all clean ingredients. It's so different. Like even the meat is different over there. The meat texture is different over there.
Yeah. So you're from the East Coast. So you're saying their street food is better than East Coast street food?
Oof.
Uh-oh. See, I got you.
So when I went to a marketplace that was known for like having all the street food out, and it was okay. They could have a little bit more.
Okay.
I feel like. So I wouldn't say it's better than over here. I mean, we have all of the foods. We have fatty foods, like fried, like we have everything over here.
Fried pickles.
Dude, like, of course, in that sense, it would be better. But yeah, like they had some good stuff over there. It was cute, small little marketplace, but I wouldn't say better.
She had the street food, and she was like, needs more mumbo sauce.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Like
not enough sugar.
Yeah,
no. Variety of different types of fatty foods, something.
Where's the fried Oreos?
And the cheesecake.
You see, but the thing is, you brought up it being so clean over there. That's something I have heard. I have heard it's super clean over there. So to hear that confirmed, I'm glad I know that now, because that was my concern. I was like, is that one of those things that people just say, you know?
No, it was that, plus like all the walking I had to do. Like I lost a lot of weight, like just being over there. It was very healthy for me.
Wow.
Like I wasn't able to like go to the gym a lot because it's like different rules to go to gyms over there. But at least I was eating clean. Like thank God I was eating clean, and that I was walking around a lot. And I knew I lost a lot of weight because the girl that makes my gear, she said that I lost 2 inches off my waist when I came back from Japan. I'm like, yeah, because I was walking a lot. It was very hot. It was humid. I was there during the summer. So that's a plus.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you was fight ready over there in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely went at a good time.
There you go. Now, I got to ask this because something I personally think, and this is just my opinion, and you can obviously retort, but, showing personality is something that is not necessarily encouraged in today's wrestling the way it should be. It's more so about work rate. I'm starting to see people more so appreciate work rate, which is no problem with that. But when it comes to specifically women's wrestling, where are a few places you feel it can improve? Not only just 2024, but going beyond 2024. What are some improvements you hope to see to women's wrestling?
I think right off the bat we are seeing improvement this year. And then last year we saw a lot of women who were just like really showing out, being champions.
Hmm.
Like a good example is like uh Mercedes Monet or Trinity, and this like it's just like there's just so many women right now that are killing it and really becoming a presence and even being better than guys out there.
Hmm.
Um, I can't necessarily say where the improvement needs to be though. I did mention like there's little cases when it comes to independent shows, like just being like I said this in another interview, where you can be more aware of the locker room situations and like having the woman there and being aware of who's going back there,
Hmm.
being aware of where you're putting your women's wrestlers in the locker room and not just like with the guys completely. We could have our own room,
Hmm.
our own little cute room if you could, but um, yeah, like yeah, I usually just speak about that when it comes to it. And but we continue to push and continue to showcase our how we do work, because a lot of the times I've seen fans not even look at how we work. They look at our features, like our body features, and they're looking at other things rather than they're looking paying attention to the match. So if anything, really see how we wrestle because we all we all have different styles and we bring a lot to the table. There's some people there's a lot of people that pay attention to the working part. There's a lot that don't. And I see the comments all the time. And I'm like, dude, are you a wrestling fan or not? Like why
Yeah.
are you watching
Yeah.
wrestling? Like, why are you here? So that's just like another thing I would like to see change. But yeah, that's it. Like that's it that really comes to mind.
Now, we're not PG on the show. I'm going to be honest. So basically, you're saying you have a great match, and here's this one dude. You ask him, hey, what did you enjoy the most about the match? He's like, your underwear.
Yeah, like
Like, and you're like,
why you gotta
what?
comment on the gear? You gotta comment on like what's showing. Like we know what's showing. We know what we have. We know what we're wearing. Now watch the match. Like
Yeah.
watch what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought a Mercedes who's killing it, and that's a great example. Trinity killed it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you're just paying attention to that, you're never gonna get the full scope of the match. But you talked about safety. Now I was backstage when Berwyn Eagles Club was happening. We even filmed a skit with each other, and I'm telling you right now, it was way too many fans sneaking back there. So yes, please take this as an opportunity to speak more
Yeah.
to how important women's safety is in professional wrestling and in general.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, it was a question. I'm sorry. We both confused. Up, can you hear me?
Oh yes.
Okay, there we go. Cool. No, I was just saying,
Yeah.
like, speak to that, like, give some steps that you feel these promoters can take to improve that safety
Yeah.
for women.
Oh yeah. So what I will say, yeah, is just keeping in mind as to who is actually back there, and have even like one person monitor in a way like that's their job.
Hmm.
Because there was an incident recently where someone did go to the back and they were only talking to the women's wrestlers, and so this was spotted right away though. It wasn't like they didn't know. This is definitely spotted right away, and they kicked that person out. So it's just good to always have like one person monitoring, like that's their job.
Hmm.
Um, any of that, and of course, like when the speaking out movement and everything was happening big time, like we did make it a thing to like, okay, male wrestlers, when you're back there, also have their back too.
Yeah.
Like be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if there isn't anybody around doing that job, like be that person. And I've seen that too. Like there have been other wrestlers who had like women wrestlers backs. Like there's fans like peeking the curtain and they're like, dude, what are you doing? Like go. Like why are you peeking behind the curtain?
Oh
Like that
no.
type of thing. Yeah, yeah. So it's just more of that, more of just like having those eyes there.
Well, if push comes to shove, you could just stand there with the mouth guard in and at the curtain,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as they open the curtain, they just see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And then they just go the other fucking way. That's
Yeah.
that's the real answer
Spin
to
out
that.
and down.
That's it. Nobody else is going to be seen if that happens, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen there. But go ahead, Warner.
Craziest road story, including Japan.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is when me and a few workers went up to Canada, because the Canada border is always there's always something going on, and it really depends on what border patrol person you get, because sometimes they're chill, and then other times they want to be sarcastic with you and everything and have an attitude with you the whole experience. But there was a time where we did go through, and a couple of us, like, we had our paperwork that we needed to present, like we had our passport. One person didn't. But like, I'm not gonna put them on blast, but like when we pulled up and they rolled down the window, the driver, they looked at the border patrol and just started laughing. I think they started laughing because they were nervous.
What?
Yeah.
Like
I
the
think they
nervous
started-
laugh, I got
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah, and then the border patrol, she was like, "What's so funny?" And then he pointed to the back at the other guy,
Oh no.
sitting in the back.
Oh.
No.
And she's like confused. She's like, "Okay," and like, "I need your guy's paperwork." He didn't have his passport. We all did, but he didn't. He had his birth certificate. They said it was okay, but they still told us to pull over to the office.
Yeah.
And we went through all that with them, and then we left. So it's like, I don't know, every time we go up to Canada, it's something like that. It's not completely crazy, but it's always just like a situation like, oh, we don't really have to go through this right now. Can we just go through smoothly?
Oh, okay. So you avoided a couple shoot fights with the Mountie, huh? Is that what you're trying to tell
Yeah.
me? Okay, all right. Now, he asked about your crazy stories and just stuff like that. Now, when you get to these other countries, you know, they have a different set of like rules when it comes to social interactions and stuff like that. What was a social interaction you had where you're like, this is different?
Oh, well, yeah, I have to bring up Japan again.
No, it's okay.
But
Oh,
uh,
it's
no, yeah, it was definitely there because like I didn't speak Japanese and they didn't speak English.
Mhm.
Like, I think there was a big difference from when I went to TJPW and then when I went to Great. That was a big difference because at Great, not everyone spoke English. At TJPW, there's more that spoke English.
Mhm.
When I went over to Great, it was like none of the girls spoke English except for maybe one,
Mhm.
but it was very minimal. But it was just like, it was definitely enough to where like I got what they were saying. Like I was looking at their motions and everything of what they meant. And of course we have our translating apps and stuff like that. But like during the time, for some reason we didn't pull out our phones to start talking in translator. I was just like in the group with them while they were talking, and I was just like looking at how they were moving,
Yeah.
and then the girl will come over to me and try to explain to me there. So that was definitely a time where I was like, all right, this is completely different. And even like the staff, like there was one wrestler that was really in charge of the international talent. Like he spoke good English, but he wasn't there the whole time.
Uh-oh.
So it was kind of like I was there by myself with the women's wrestlers and trying to figure everything out.
Well, at least you were trying. Some people just come over there like, look, find me the person that can speak the most English. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. So at least you had a great attitude about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, definitely.
Something I want to speak to, because MLW is showing a lot of faith in you by opening a door to a division that's kind of in its infancy. So talk about what that means to you to see how much faith they have in you as a wrestler and as the Kick Demon, the character as well. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that means a lot to be in a position like that, because like right when I came in, I won the title, and I've always kept an eye on MLW and what they were doing with the women's division, or like if they were even having one, or like when they did bring in the woman, what was going on. Like I've been really keeping an eye since basically when I first started,
Mm-hmm.
and so just seeing the way that it's been going and now what it's becoming
Mm-hmm.
it's great to see, and I think it's becoming something even more. And if you look at each of us, at least for the women that are there
Mm-hmm.
right now, we're different in our own way, and we all are very familiar with each other, but it's so cool to be like together at a place like this and grow and do all of the things that we've been doing so far. And it means a lot to just even be there and for them to trust me to not only hold the title, but also just like in the situations that they put me in, like in the segments that they put me in, with the Japanese talent that they've been bringing in for me to wrestle, because it like to bring in a Japanese talent, you definitely have to have a trusted wrestler to wrestle them, because the company that's bringing them in wants the same. Like, they want their talent to wrestle someone that's safe, that they can trust, that they're at least familiar with too. Not just anybody. Like, not just anyone can wrestle Japanese talent that comes through. So that also means a lot.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound like Allstate here when I say this, but like, who was the first wrestler you got in the ring with where you were like, I'm in good hands? Who was that person for you?
I first got in the ring with that I'm in good hands. There's a good number of so I will say, like, more in a veteran perspective, like, of them being the vet, and then like so for something like that, I would say like Athena was definitely someone
Okay.
with who I wrestled at Warrior Wrestling. And this is like one of her first indie matches back, like in the indies, before they announced that she was signed. And the way that we put together this match and everything, I was definitely nervous, because I don't know, like, I know a lot about her, but I don't know my ability to wrestle against someone like her, because she's like magnificent in the ring. And it's like, all right, I know that I can hold my own, but I also have to remember to trust other people too when it comes to that, to remind myself, all right. She even reminded me, because she saw it in my face. She was like, don't worry, I got you. I was like, okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, and when we had this match, it was like smooth as butter. It felt so good. I felt like right when we got through the beginning of the match, if you watch it, like, I was good after that. Like, I felt completely confident, and the chemistry and our styles together are super cool to see and even do together. So yeah, that's definitely one person.
She's super hard hitting, and she makes it look so good, man. She makes it look
Yeah.
so good. But go ahead, Werner.
So obviously you are the MLW Featherweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only belt you see yourself having this year? Do you see yourself going on a belt collector run in 2024?
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I definitely see it happening. My thing, for sure, like, my goal is to venture out more, even travel a lot more, even go to Europe, and really make a name for myself over there. But like, yeah, also just collecting the more I go. So definitely a goal. I don't have a particular one, and like, my eyes aren't on one specific one or anything, but I'm here for it.
There you go. And I noticed you said you're not really in a rush to get to like an AEW or WWE. What is your thought process behind that? And once you do get to that point of where you're like, hey, I'm a free agent for that, what's going to be your mindset? Is it going to be more of who can develop you better, or where you think you could have the better matches?
It's gonna be who can develop me better, because I'm always going back to whoever really wants to work with me. And again, like, I've seen how they do things at AEW, and it looks great. Like, they're really into the character and wanting to develop the character even more there. So like, with my thing, when I say like I'm not in a rush, it's more so like, when I'm wrestling, I'm not thinking about I have to do this to get signed type thing, or every day I'm thinking I have to get signed. Like, that's not running through my head, because if that runs through my head, then it's going to really get to me. Like, if it doesn't happen sooner, it's like one of those type of things. So I'm patient in a way where it's like, I don't mind waiting, because during this time I'm going to be improving. I'm going to be upping my game with the promos, with the segments, with everything. So by all means, don't sign me until you're ready to sign me or whatever, because I'll take advantage of that time, that downtime where it's like I'm not signed yet. That's what I mean by that.
No, absolutely. So you're very, very focused on your development. That's
Yeah.
it's so important. And there's a lot of wrestlers. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast either. You said that earlier. I'm not gonna put nobody on blast, but there's some wrestlers that I've seen and I've worked with where I'm like, you're not ready yet. You gotta get the work in. Like you just started. I mean, you just took your first bump 3 months ago, and you're like WWE. No.
World champion.
I'm gonna be. Go ahead.
There's some that could develop quickly, and then there's some like it takes a lot more time. And the one thing that comes with that is being very honest with yourself, because a lot of people who do get signed are not honest with themselves sometimes. But if you are, and if you're like, you know what, I know I'm new, I know I don't got this, I know I got that, so I'm gonna work on it. Some people are just not that honest, and that's why it's like that. It's like it's not even necessarily of who's, because they're not going to get completely spoon-fed by the people that they work with. Like they're not going to hold your hand, and like they are not the ones that can necessarily make you better in the ring. You make yourself better in the ring.
Yeah.
So that's what it really is. At the end of the day, it's really all on you. You can't just like expect people to it's one thing to like hand you an opportunity or whatever, and then something happens out of it. Like, it's really all on you and your work. That's what matters, and that's what really shows too, because you do see people who get signed quickly and like months, years go by, and like maybe you do see a little bit of improvement, but it's like, all right, I mean, there's this person that's not signed yet and they're killing it in the ring. They should be on TV. Like you get a lot of that in your mind, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But again, it's all on them. And if they have a passion for this business and a passion in themselves and want to see themselves get better, that's what they need to do. They need to be honest with themselves.
Yeah. The exhale kind of told the story. I knew what you meant. You were just like, I wish I could tell everybody this. Well, we have pretty good viewership, so enough people are gonna hear it. But Roman Reigns, she was talking to you. That's who she was talking to right there, Roman.
Charlotte Flair, she is pointing you out.
That's gonna be the headline right there. Charlotte Flair, she's talking about you.
Oh no.
No
one's even gonna get into like what I actually said. They're just gonna read the title and get mad at me. So
you better talk. That's how people consume things these days.
That's a fact right there.
They just see something and they're just like this, and it's like you did no research.
I see it. Yeah, I see it every day.
Oh my goodness! But where does it annoy you the most, though?
Where
does it annoy you the most, though?
It's on Twitter. I see it the most, like with the with any articles that come out. I get what they're trying to do with the titles, but still people just give in so quickly. Like I learned about this like in the YouTube days, because YouTubers always put a title and like the video has nothing to do with the title was. Like someone like the title's like, I'm quitting YouTube, and they're not quitting YouTube. But people think they're quitting YouTube just because of the title, and they think they don't have to watch the video now.
Yeah.
There's like things like that.
Willy Wonka suplexes a bear and it's a cooking video. You're like,
yeah.
What's happening here? Go ahead, Warren.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Willy Wonka suplexing a bear sounds good to me. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I broke you. I didn't mean to break you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Getting back into the training, when you started doing professional wrestling training, did you think with your martial arts background you'd be able to pick up wrestling a lot easier?
I wasn't necessarily sure. I knew for a fact, like when we were moving around the ring, it definitely seemed familiar, because like when I do martial arts, we have to stay in a square basically. Like we can't go out of bounds where we'll lose a point and stuff like that. So when I was in the ring, I was like, oh, okay. Like when I move around, I still move around in my martial arts stance, and like, you know how boxers move. I
Mhm.
still do the same movement when it comes to the footwork. So I was able to pick up that very quickly. There's, of course, like the bumping. Bumping's not a normal thing you do. So the bumping at first was definitely hard for me to even
Mm,
get.
mm, mm,
Like,
mm.
what, you want me to just like fall back like flat, like
And they're like,
perfect?
yes.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. Like I wasn't like necessarily scared, but it was just weird to me. Like when I remember when I was trying to learn and they would shoulder tackle me, I wasn't like going completely flat because it was just weird. So it's just like things like that, of course.
Yeah, it's human instinct to want to protect your body from a fall. So yeah, that's hard to
Yeah,
train out of.
Mhm.
It definitely is.
yeah.
Now, oh man, I'm doing this one. I didn't want to do it. Was there a moment when you were training where you saw another trainee and you were just like, this ain't for you? You might need to find something else to do. You don't have to say their name, but you just saw them
Oh
and you were
yeah.
like,
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair. We said it. Willy Wonka suplex in a bear. We saw it.
There's always gonna be someone. It's just like in Taekwondo too. Like there was always someone that didn't quite grasp everything so quickly, or they weren't really getting it.
Hmm.
And that comes again with being honest with yourself, because I've seen those same people release themselves from school and go work shows. And for some reason, promoters want to trust that person. I don't know how they automatically decided to trust the person or seen their work anywhere, but it's just things like that. Like you got to be honest with yourselves at the end of the day. But I have seen people who are like a little bit behind, and thankfully, like the trainers that I had, they were patient with them, because it's also another thing to be a trainer. So
Hmm.
being on the other side and trying to teach these people, and they will pull them aside while everyone else continues with the class and really walk through everything. But at the end of the day, and I've always heard it, it was like you have to be honest with yourself if this is something you really want to do and this is something that's for you.
See, she's a good person. She put nobody on blast. She wasn't like Leonard.
No.
I remember when you ran the ropes and fell out the ring.
Mhm.
You know, she said, Leonard, I got your back. I'm not going to give him nothing. Okay, I already gave him the
Yeah,
Charlotte Flair headline. I'm not giving him nothing else. I'm not giving him nothing else.
it's definitely understandable. Like when I was seeing this happen, like I wasn't the best person in the class either. So like I'm
Yeah,
not really
dog.
one to talk. So it was like one of those situations where like I understood what was going on, but again, this is all on them.
Werner, I thought we had a good rapport with her. Here she goes lying again saying she wasn't the best person in her class.
I
I'm not
definitely
buying
wasn't.
it. I'm not buying it.
Just lying. We don't need that. Just tell the
Yeah.
truth. We know you were the best.
No, I was not.
She's like, no, I wasn't.
There's definitely more athletic people, younger people, because I started when okay, so 24 is not old, but in wrestling, it's kind of, I
Yeah.
started kind of at this generation, I started pretty late, because there was 16, 17-year-olds in the class that are way more athletic and everything. So
Every
that's
time.
why I say I wasn't the best in the class.
Every
They had
time
to
you
get
said
parental
something.
permission?
You said what?
Did they have to get parental permission?
Yeah, they definitely had to get permission if they were 18, and they did.
Billy Starks, she's talking about you. She's doing it.
Yeah, we were in the same class and everything.
Yeah. Every time she spoke, they were like, shut your face, grandma. No, it's all love. That's still obviously still very young, but now I gotta get to this, and then we might have to go ahead and let you go. Get back to your regular life of being a kick demon. If you could take on one MMA fighter in a wrestling ring and one pro wrestler in an octagon, who would those two people be?
MMA fighter in pro wrestling ring. I'll probably shoot for like my favorite, which is Joanna Young Jacek. She was definitely an inspiration to me when I was training for my fight, and I chickened out when I saw her in person.
Oh
no. I still kick myself for not saying, like, when I was at American Top Team, she was there. Like, I was in the bathroom, I was washing my hands, and she came out and she was washing her hands, and like I was like, oh, crap. I didn't say anything though, but she is definitely someone that, like, dang, I would, like, if she wants to get into pro wrestling, because I remember, like, their American Top Team was doing some wrestling stuff or whatever. Like, she was around that a little bit. But, man, like, if anything, a pro wrestling match with her would be great. And then as far as a pro wrestler in an octagon, let me think carefully about this. You know what? Let me like shoot for Asuka.
Oh.
Because Asuka's like one of like the dream matches I have. But, like if we can do it like in an octagon, that would be sick.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting proposition right there.
Dana White, you heard her. UFC 300. UFC 300. Do
Co-main event, 5 rounds. We need the 5 rounds.
Yeah.
You want to go 5 rounds with her? you want to do that?
Will Asuka last the 5 rounds?
Yeah, well, Asuka lasts 5 rounds.
I've done some shoot style tournaments and shows where I had to go 5 rounds. But if it's like 5 minutes, I don't know about that.
Said being honest with yourself, right?
Yes.
There you
get
go.
blown. I don't think I got cardio for that much.
You're going to sound like SpongeBob when he was trapped in the dome. He was like, water.
Yeah.
All love. You have been absolutely amazing. Again, this was a long time coming. I'm glad we were able to do this. I love talking to anyone that has intelligence about the business, wants to see it become better, and you are a part of that. Now, we have to do this portion where, again, we just pretty much ask you to speak to who you are and where people could find you. Even though I already dropped your link tree in the description, do it anyway. Let's go.
Yeah. My link tree has like so many links, so I'll try to remember like a few of them. Of course, Instagram, Janai_Kai. Also for Twitter /X, you can find me Janai_Kai. I'm on TikTok, Janai Kai. I have a Twitch channel, which I'm going to be getting back on there very, very soon. It's twitch.tv/Janai Kai. I have Patreon if you want to see like daily vlogs and like daily blog posts of just like how my days are going, what's on my mind. I'm on Patreon. Yeah, I think those are like the main things. And I just launched a merch store, and it's a Big Cartel merch store. So it's janaikai.bigcartel.com to get my merchandise.
Go get your merch and check out her TikTok too, man. You know, she talks about what she's packing up. You know?
Yeah, I just posted that today.
Yeah, you know, go ahead and get on there and see what she brings. She brings her demonic force, the mouth guard. That's it. That's all she brings. She don't bring nothing. The clothes just pop on when she gets into the arena. That's exactly what happens right
I
there.
wish it was that way. Shoot.
Well.
Yeah.
But y'all, it is time for us to get the hell up out of here, man. Y'all already know it's Mr. Starks and
Big Dub.
And you could sign yourself off as well. Go ahead. See, we did it again. We got to start over, y'all. We got to start over, y'all. Hold on, wait. Here we go. Mr. Starks and
Big Dub.
And go ahead, Janai Kai. Go ahead.
Janai Kai.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. That was perfect. Be honest with yourself. We out of here, y'all.
Peace.